Hey everyone, this is Ben with Apex Renovations. We're here at our latest rehab project in Mount Prospect, Illinois. Today I'm going to talk with you briefly about foundation issues. Now these can be really scary to a lot of people, and they do have the potential to spiral out of control and cost a lot of money. But the good news is a lot of times there's an easier fix than you might expect. So what we have at this house here is on the corner behind me. The whole corner of the house is actually settled slightly. And we're talking maybe an inch. The house was built in the 1960s, so over almost 60 years, the house settled almost an inch. I mean, it's really not that dramatic, but it can look really dramatic and scary when you glance at it. So a couple of the telltale signs here. If you look down here, the sill plate under the door, and then the brick here, you can see a pretty good separation. Now, at a glance, that doesn't necessarily tell us the whole picture, but you start looking at the other pieces of the puzzle. We've got this step down in the brick here where it's separating away. That kind of tells us that it's pulling apart in this direction. Some separation here as well. And then if you look back over here further towards the corner, you get that same step down where it's pulling apart even further. And you start to get a sense of in what direction the house is moving. And of course the corners are more likely to settle than the center of the house, just having less support over here. If you start wondering about what's the culprit of that, this is the really frustrating part, is a lot of times it's just really simple preventative maintenance that caused the issue. So this actually looks like the remedy of choice is to get some of the water from the downspout a little further away from the house. But the reality of what happened here is the water came down. You can see that despite this little setup, the water is pooling right here. So if the water is pooling on the surface, it's already saturated into the ground. It seeped into the ground under the foundation and loosened the dirt or the support under the foundation. And over time, you've got weight on the house, and if the foundation has a little room to move, it's always going to move down, of course. So the simple, not necessarily solution here, but the preventative measure would have been to put a long downspout extension on this. If you got it 6 or 8 feet further away from the house, the water wouldn't have gone down to the foundation level, and this probably never would have happened. So it's disappointing to see such a big problem created by such a small lack of preventive maintenance. But now that the damage is done, how do we solve it? First off, we'll get our downspout extension so we don't make it any worse. But what needs to happen is they can come in with a pier system where they dig a hole, they put in a big slab of concrete and a reinforcement bar from that concrete to this wall to help hold it up from going any further. Our inspectors tell us it's usually not best to try and raise it back up. You'll cause more problems than you really want to deal with, because when things start to try and splice back together, it usually doesn't work very well. So we're just going to stop the damage from getting any worse, redo our tuck pointing where you saw the openings in the brick, and from there we're good to go for probably the indefinite future. So that's it for today. We'll see you on the next video.